What if I told you that the man everyone calls the most loyal husband in hip-hop might not be so loyal after all? On television and in magazines, Papoose is painted as the perfect partner, the man who stood by Remy Ma while she was in prison, the husband who built his image on love, patience, and commitment. But behind those staged family pictures and the carefully written reality show storylines, there's a chapter of his life that rarely gets mentioned. A chapter so hidden that even Papoose himself avoids speaking about it. It's not just gossip, and it's not just the internet stirring up drama. There are whispers, claims from people who knew him back in the day, and even old photos that paint a very different story than the one the public has been sold. Because if he truly is the king of loyalty, then why are there children out there carrying his blood, yet left out of his spotlight? Why are their names barely spoken, hidden behind the shadows, while the world sees only the version of him built for TV? Tonight, let's take off the mask and look at the side of Papoose that doesn't fit the fairy tale. The children, the partners, and the silence that has followed them for years. To understand this, we have to rewind time. Before VH1, before the fame, before he became Remy Ma's rock, Papoose was just Shamil Mackey from Brooklyn, hustling his way through the rap game. He sold mixtapes out of the trunk of his car, battled in the streets, and dreamed of making it big. But while he was climbing toward his dream, he was also building a family. He had children before the cameras started following him. Real kids. Real lives. Yet when the lights came on and he rebranded himself as the poster child for loyalty, those children seemed to disappear from the story. The question is, why? Some believe the choice wasn't just his. One person who claims to have worked around the industry years ago said producers didn't want the messy story of Papoose's earlier kids. They wanted a clean narrative. The man who waited for his woman through prison, who stood strong as a symbol of love conquering all. Kids from previous relationships didn't fit that brand, so they were erased from the script. Others whisper that it wasn't only producers. It was Papoose himself who saw the chance to rewrite his life, to present himself as a loyal husband above all else, even if it meant ignoring the children he already had. Think about it. When was the last time you saw his older kids featured on Love and Hip Hop? When have you ever heard him celebrate them publicly with the same energy he gives to his daughter with Remy? The silence is loud. And while the world cheered him for being the man who waited at the prison gates with flowers, his first family watched from the sidelines, almost invisible to the story he sold. The internet, however, never forgets. Years back, fans started asking questions online. Someone tweeted, "Didn't Papoose already have kids?" That tweet vanished within hours, but screenshots lived on. Old forum posts brought up names: Dejeuner, Shamil Jr., Destiny. These weren't made-up characters. They were real children who rarely got acknowledgement from the man the world praised as Father of the Year. The more people dug, the more the story cracked open. And then came the whispers about his first partner, the woman who carried his earliest children. Hardly anyone talks about her, almost like her existence was erased too. But those who claim to know her say she stayed silent not because she wanted to, but because it was easier. Allegedly, she was warned not to speak out while Papoose was shaping his new image. Silence was safer than a fight. If that's true, then the quiet wasn't just her choice, it was enforced. What makes this more ironic is that Papoose always branded himself as real, clowning other rappers for being fake. Yet he may have been curating his own story just as carefully, hiding parts that didn't match his new identity. You can't erase children though. They don't just vanish because a camera crew says cut. They grow, they feel, and they notice when they're left out. Imagine being one of those kids scrolling through Instagram, seeing your father celebrated as the ultimate symbol of loyalty, while you barely exist in his world. Sources even claim that one of his older children once confided to a friend, "He loves the cameras more than he loves us." Whether true or not, those words cut deep. And what about Remy? Insiders claim she wasn't unaware. She allegedly knew about Papoose's older children, but chose to let him control the narrative. The focus was their love story, their family, their rise as hip-hop's most resilient couple. The past was left buried. But secrets don't stay buried forever. A quiet comment on Facebook, an old picture surfacing, a friend spilling tea. It only takes one spark for the internet to catch fire. Not long ago, someone believed to be close to Papoose's first family dropped a post online. Funny how the world calls a man loyal when he couldn't even be loyal to his first kids. That single line was like gasoline. Fans who once worshipped Papoose began questioning everything. If he could erase his earlier children, then was his whole image a performance? Social media threads exploded with old pictures, grainy shots of a younger Papoose holding a toddler, family cookouts, faces blurred but resemblances undeniable. Soon blogs picked it up, YouTubers dissected it, and podcasters debated if Papoose had sold the world a fantasy. Some claimed he was simply protecting his children's privacy. Others believed it was all branding, loyalty packaged as a product to sell records and TV ratings. Either way, the damage was done. The once spotless image of the loyal husband now carried cracks. For Remy, this scandal also cast a shadow. Fans began wondering if she knew all along and played along for the cameras. Was their brand built on love, or was it built on selective truth? Suddenly, the couple that symbolized resilience looked like a facade carefully maintained for public sympathy and profit. And then came the legal whispers. Screenshots of supposed old child support disputes started making rounds online. Whether real or not, they were enough to fuel headlines. Papoose dragged into court over hidden kids. Once a headline like that spreads, the facts almost don't matter. The perception is set. The man once praised as hip-hop's most faithful husband now faced the possibility of being remembered as a man who abandoned his first family for fame. Memes and jokes followed, but underneath the humor was pain. Because behind all the gossip and speculation are real children who may feel overlooked, watching their father's loyalty celebrated everywhere, except where it should matter most, at home with them. So the question remains: can a man truly be called loyal if he erases parts of his own bloodline to protect his image? Maybe the truth will never fully surface, but one thing is clear. The fairy tale everyone believed about Papoose doesn't look so perfect anymore. And when skeletons this heavy start rattling, it's only a matter of time before the closet door swings wide open. Side-by-side pictures of Papoose holding Remy's baby with captions like, "Forgot he had 3 practice rounds," spread online like wildfire. It was cruel, but it fueled the drama. Just as things seemed to calm down, whispers from his first wife resurfaced through a friend. She claimed Pap wasn't only absent but manipulative, promising the world then vanishing. To her, fatherhood was just a costume he wore for the cameras and took off when life got inconvenient. That story caught fire because it cut deep. Papoose had built his reputation on loyalty, but now people were saying he might be the fakest of them all. And this wasn't about money or contracts, it was about children. Kids don't lie, and they don't care about branding. They just grow up knowing whether their father was present or not. The fallout was brutal. Brands quietly stepped away. Fans labeled him a fraud. Hashtags dragged his name for days. Then rumors of a new relationship with Claressa Shields made things even messier, with some blogs even hinting at baby plans. Suddenly, the loyal husband image cracked wide open, and what was left was a man accused of recycling families for the cameras. Side-by-side photos of Papoose holding Remy's baby started making the rounds online, and right next to them were captions like, "Forgot he had 3 practice rounds." It was cold, it was mean, but it was exactly the kind of content the internet loves. What started out as jokes quickly turned into something heavier, because people weren't just laughing, they were digging. And that's when the story shifted. Just as it looked like things might finally cool down, his first wife's name popped back up. Through a close friend, she allegedly claimed Pap wasn't only absent, he was manipulative. He made promises, painted big dreams, then disappeared when it mattered. She described him as